Now, welcome to another Let's Talk Some Andor, the final Let's Talk Some Andor. This time it is part 2 of the final 3 episodes, 10, 11, and 12.
Yes, Luthen's sacrifice and the endurance of the Rebel Alliance.
Yeah.
That's what I called it.
That's what this arc was all about, wasn't it?
It really was. Because first we saw what Luthen's sacrifice and everything he went through meant on the side of the ISB, and now we're seeing what it means on the side of the Rebel Alliance.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. First off, I loved seeing K2 play that card betting game thing that with the domino
that was something
looking
they
things.
made for the show. Yeah,
It was just kind of good fun because he's obviously been socializing and learning how to socialize, probably from playing games and stuff like this along the way.
Yeah, that was a game 863 or something like that he had played because he was like, no, she's like bluffing him, and he's like, wow, this doesn't align with anything you've done before. And she's like, hey, it's being human. Mm-hmm. And then Cassian's like, he's just trying to droid you. I like that.
And it was cool to see that Will is still with his girlfriend.
He is, yeah. He's loyal.
He is.
He kind of left the last one, and,
He said he'd be back. We know
he wasn't back, yeah. Even though Bix is still there. He could go visit Bix, and that's awkward.
Hey, you're jumping way ahead.
Oh.
Way ahead.
Oh, yeah, that is way ahead, isn't it?
I do like the loyalty, though, that they showed. Like, Luthen's burned them, right?
Yeah.
He's burned them in the past. Cassian and Will still acknowledge him. They acknowledge what he's done, and they're like, we're going to save him. We have to.
Yeah, I think it's part they're worried, because it's only like an emergency, like, hey, something's really wrong code. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if they're like, oh, crap, if Luthen gets caught, like, Yavin is compromised, too. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying there's no loyalty
I don't think that's what they were thinking, though.
I don't know. When Cassian gets there and he's talking to
Clea,
the first thing he says is like, is Luthen dead? Like, that's his number one priority. Like, is he dead? Do we have to worry about trying to save him or kill him or what? But I'm not saying there's no loyalty there. I agree with you that there is this sort of like, we have to acknowledge the guy. He's the founder of the rebellion in many ways, so.
I mean, you got K2, Cassian, Melchi. This is the only time we've seen the three of them on a mission together. I kind of really liked it. And then there was poor Clea. I mean, you see her, it feels like she was always planning to die when they came to get her. They show up, they go in there, and she's like, here's the message, bye. But she doesn't have anything, and we all know she doesn't have anything. Luthen is gone. There's no reason for her to stay there, and she knows she can't be captured. She knows she's a liability.
Yeah, I think she was planning to do what must be done to herself, like Luthen was.
I think it was partially the pain of having to do what she did to Luthen.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's guilt.
That was a daughter-father relationship.
Sort of, Sort of.
Sort of, but I feel like kids would adapt that kind of stuff. I mean, he was her teacher, her mentor, her
you're going to see
employer,
him. Even if you don't label it, which they didn't want to, certainly she sees him as a father figure to some degree, a large degree.
She cared about him.
Yeah, and vice versa. He was worried about what he was doing to her way back in the day.
Mm-hmm. So I think she was just ready to give it up. But I was really glad that she didn't. I was really, really happy to see that she made it. She went to Yavin. She's reunited with Vel. She sees the fruits of what they've been working for.
Yeah.
Luthen didn't even fully get to see what they've been working for.
Speaking of Vel, do we take away a happy future for both of those two? Is that where we were kind of being led to believe that there was a thing between those two at some point, and now that thing is going to rekindle? I don't know.
Maybe.
That's kind of what I got out of it.
Either as friends, or maybe they'll continue to work together for the rebellion. I mean, she's a master of communications, and...
Yeah, either way, she needs some friends.
Right, she needed friends.
Yeah.
Being able to sit down with Vel, I think that was really just good for her.
Yeah, I kind of felt like that was trying to imply, like, Vel has lost Cinta, and she has kind of lost Luthen, not in the same way, but maybe there's something there. I don't know.
Perhaps. Seeing K2 kind of killing all those ISB troopers and walking down the hallway with the dead body shield, that was gruesome. It was gruesome, but I feel like we talked a couple days ago about the K2 horror movie episode that was going to be. I wonder if the ideas from that kind of surfaced a bit here. They had him going to the ship. They have him slamming people. And he's using a dead body as a shield.
Well, it didn't start as a dead body, but it finished that way.
Yeah, but I can also see why Cassian didn't want him to have a gun. He's frightening enough.
Yeah.
He's frightening enough.
Does he need one? No. Mm-hmm. And speaking of that, we did watch Rogue One the night before, so we're ready to talk about that as well.
Absolutely.
But not in this video.
I have to say, I was kind of disappointed that Bale didn't want to believe the information that Luthen died for. Like, he didn't understand how important Luthen was. He didn't. I mean, I get it. They're running the rebellion as a small Senate type thing, a little council.
The council, yeah.
Where they vote on issues. And Luthen was kind of different in the way he was running it and putting things together. I understand that there's a change. I mean, Saw didn't like the way they ran it either. We got a little brief look at crazy, paranoid Saw.
Well, that lines up with Rogue One. I think
really
that was
does.
Mainly in there because Saw in Rogue One is like, I don't trust anybody. Everybody's trying to...
But we saw him getting there. Like you said, we saw it in Rogue One, but even in the 1 year before this or whatever, the 2 years before this, I don't remember at this point, when Will was there, he's like huffing the rhinonium.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying he just...
He's accusing people of being a spy when he doesn't even... I don't even know if he really knows for sure. We know he eventually gets the Borg gullet. We don't know if he's right or wrong.
No, Draven talks about how they've been kind of prodding his operations and sending in spies, so...
But it's crazy because it's kind of a weird thing where they also made him into what he is in a way.
He's shaped by many hands.
He's shaped by a lot of things, especially with his time back on
Onderon.
In Onderon, with his sister.
I think that is the root of everything that has happened to him is that death of his sister.
Mm-hmm. I really like that Mon. She wanted to believe. She knew. She trusted. I really wish they would have thrown in Bail's face that, hey, Luthen's the one who told us about your team being compromised. I really thought that they would do that. But I really appreciated some of the smaller moments that they gave us. Just the scene where Mon and Vel sit down to have breakfast together.
Yeah.
And, Vel's not dyeing her hair anymore, so it's actually the same color as Mon's hair.
Yeah, they are cousins, yeah.
Yeah, they do actually have a little bit of a similarity.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's really sweet that we're just going to get some of these small moments of people coming together. We got to see the Force Healer once again, giving a knowing look almost to Cassian, because she knows his destiny is coming, whether he wants it or not. I am curious about Perrin. We saw him in the back of a car with Skalden's wife.
Because Skalden Davos was arrested for his interactions with Mon. I think it's...
I think that you are onto something, because obviously they probably figured out she was funding the rebellion.
Yeah, he was.
And he was moving the money.
Oh, yeah.
He was a party to it. But at the same time, how are those two getting off scot-free? Can you just claim ignorance to the ISB and they're okay with it? I still figured you would use them against, Mon's still out there. You don't think you make a public hollow or something of the fate of Perrin farther?
I don't know. I wonder if... I mean, she had been spied on for years, and their marital troubles were probably well known in the ISB. So they're probably like, we can't use him. And then you factor in Perrin's got his old war buddies.
Connections, yeah. But at the same time, how come they didn't go after using the daughter?
I don't know.
There were just questions.
Well, sure. I mean, those are things that... Yeah, questions. I agree, but maybe we just don't have time.
Maybe an interview will tell us that eventually. Maybe. He also didn't look happy. So I wonder if he misses her.
I think he does. I think he realized he loved her, or maybe just enjoyed the life that they lived together.
I mean, sometimes I've heard, and it's a weird saying, that if you have the big arguments like those two would have, you're arguing because you care, right?
You're wrong. You don't know anything.
Well, no, that's what I've heard is when you stop arguing, when you just totally apathetic to each other. That's when the love is gone. They cared enough to have the arguments, to snip at each other now and again.
Yeah.
But they still always came back together. So I think there was love there, and I think he really misses her.
Sometimes you don't know what you got till it's gone, right?
Sagrona
Tima.
All right, then we got this closing shot. We got the closing of B2, first off. My boy B. We get to see that he is living his best life. He's back on the farm. Farmville world. Woo! Not only that, he's probably going to get to help Bix raise her baby.
Yep, baby Cassian.
Baby Cassian, not baby Tim.
No.
No, it's definitely...
the time doesn't...
Baby, no. It's baby Cassian, a child that he probably doesn't even know he has. I think Vel knows.
Vel knows, because Vel's trying to tell.
Vel's pressuring him to come and reach out to her. So I think
after
she
this
knew.
Mission.
And he's like, once things have calmed down, and we know how the story ends, but seeing that his legacy, he gets to carry on in a way is...
Yeah. And now Dave Filoni will take the character and make it Force sensitive.
No, leave it alone. But one last thing I will kind of mention is because we did watch Rogue One right after, I really love the adjoining piece where we get to see him go to the Rings of Kafrene.
Yeah.
We see him meet up with Tivik. And we know that the pieces of information that Cassian had, the message, were like Galen Erso and Jeddah.
Yeah.
And he just had bits and pieces and words. And he knew that there was a weapon, but they don't know what it does. But he gets there, and Tivik is like, it's one of Saw's old connections, like like a Galen, and Cassian's like, Galen Erso?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, we know how he knows this name.
Yeah.
It's all clicking, and then he's going, they're making a weapon, and he goes, what does it do? What does it do? Because he needs to know what it does.
He already had the pieces.
He had the pieces, but he gets the rest of the picture. And it's just crazy, because it's funny, it reminds me of Luthen with Lonnie for the last time, where he gets all the information out of him, and then he
he's no longer
rid
useful.
Of him.
Or he's become a burden.
But everything flows so well. I mean, the clothes he's wearing are exact as far as I can tell.
I mean, for 10 years difference, he looks
they did well.
very much like he did in Rogue One, yeah.
So I'm missing the show already.
I know,
and I'm hoping that the rave reviews I'm sure the show is getting, not just on our platform, obviously, but across the entirety of Star Wars.
Well, it was the first show in the history of IMDb to like get, what was it, 95s for like 3 or 4 straight episodes or something. Right? You'll have to look it up yourself. I'm sorry, I forgot. But it was like the first time that's ever happened, and you're like, wow, that's pretty impressive.
I mean, the word of mouth has obviously been fantastic.
Yeah.
The show has grown in time of the people who
it's had a very
watched season one. Yeah.
I consider myself one of those who's tried to champion it every possible way I can via here on YouTube or people I know or just anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and I just feel like this is one of those shows that people should watch. It's really good. It's really good just as a show, just as itself. You need maybe some basic Star Wars knowledge, and you'll be fine.
Be fine, even without basic Star Wars knowledge. I think you're fine, which is not an insult against it. It's just the fact that
that's why it works.
So good. It works as a story first
because you fall in love with these characters, these people. You're following such a human story, a timeless story, as even Tony Gilroy has said. So things like this, they need to keep happening. Not even just within Star Wars. Shows like this are enduring.
Yeah, this show, even, again, if it wasn't Star Wars, which isn't meant to mean anything good or bad, like, this show sticks with me. I'm never going to forget this show and the emotions and just the ending and the Gorman Massacre and Season 1 and Narcan of 5. There's so much here that just sticks with you. And you don't want to say goodbye to the characters, and yet, well, we might not say goodbye to all of them. Who knows?
But Tony Gilroy's moving on.
Yeah, I'm not saying Tony Gilroy, and I kind of joked about Filoni taking Cassian's son, but there's this part of me that's like, do we see him again someday?
Maybe Tony signed a contract that anyone can write his son except Dave Filoni.
Oh, jeez, that's bad.
I don't want my kid to be a joke.
Oh, come on. Filoni's not that bad.
You already said Filoni would make him a Jedi.
He would, though.
He would.
Filoni doesn't know what else to do with characters sometimes, I feel like. That's his biggest flaw. He's so into Star Wars that everything is kind of Jedi and Sith, which is fine and not fine at the same time. I loved
seeing all these articles that are like, you don't need the Jedi or the Sith to be great Star Wars. I was like, no, you don't.
But then some people argue it's not Star Wars if you don't have those things, and that's a topic for another time. Yeah, because for now, that's all we got for you this time. It is your turn. Take to the comments below. Tell us what you thought of this finale of Andor. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you somewhere in between? Whatever the case may be, leave your comments below. Let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.